0.
We have a lot to talk about.
1,
All right. So that's going to be like my little...
2, 3.
The reason why I asked you to come on,
Let's get started.
we wanted to talk about manifesting,
Yes, girl.
starting, getting what we want out of life.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked Bree to be here today. This is Bree. Welcome to Tip Talks. And I do a little bit different every time I start off the podcast. I just kind of go with it and figure out, and then I can... So the reason why I'm so enamored and I'm so glad you wanted to be a guest to talk about this is because I actually really, really, really believe in this. It is something that I'm really, really passionate about. And you don't find too many people who are really into it, who are, sold out. Like, they're like, oh, that's woo-woo.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it's not woo-woo.
No, it's woo-woo, but bring on the woo-woo. I love the woo-woo.
She says, no, it's woo-woo.
I am sold on the woo-woo. I will put my little crystals outside so the moon can charge them.
Yes.
Like, I blow cinnamon through my front door the first of every month to bring good things. Like,
I love it.
am as woo-woo as it gets.
But you didn't used to be, right?
I mean, I always have, like, aligned with that, but I've just never physically done it. Like,
When did it click, and when did you decide to pick up whatever woo-woo habits that you had?
I feel like the end of 2023 was just a really, really rocky time in my life, like business-wise, and I was just kind of having one of those, like, moments of, am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right thing? Should I be doing something else? Should I, like, what's going on in my life? And I met another like-minded person who kind of laid it out for me in, like, kindergarten terms where it made sense for me.
Yeah.
And I just it started out with a list of goals. Like, in January of 2024, I was like, screw this. Last year sucked. These are my goals. I wrote them out 1,000,000 times. Like, I will be this by this date.
So when you say, like, I will be this, so I've learned that the way you say things also affects how your brain processes them. So I've seen, because I follow a lot of manifesting people, they say, like, if you write down, I will be rich, or I will be, 100 and whatever pounds, or I will be a top performer, like, that will be means it's in the future. They told me that I have to make it now. Like, I am a top performer, or I am in the best shape of my life. And that's how you had to tell your brain. So I'm kind of curious, how did it work for you?
But it's all about, so, you can say, I will be rich, or I will be a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that, but you have to, you're basically, that's an open-ended statement for the universe. So there's no, like, timeline
I will
on
be.
it.
There's no timeline, right?
Correct. But mine was, I will pay off $40,000 worth of debt in 2024. So the in 2024 made it.
So you gave yourself the whole year and in order to achieve it. So
yeah. So you just have to put if you're going to word it like that, I mean, now as I learn more about it, I feel like I do, I'll try to change the verbiage up so that it is a right now thing. I am this. I drive a G-Wagon. I love my G-Wagon.
Girl, I was literally getting ready to go to the G-Wagon because we did not know that we had this very similar, very hilarious, but, like, also not hilarious. Like, it's real. This is a thing that we have on our achievement list. And I always said, when I'm driving my G-Wagon, then I have arrived, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know why that was something that I wanted. Like, why did you fixate on that car?
I don't know. I feel like it's just the boss girl car. It's the Kardashian car.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I don't know. I just feel like all wags, like wives of athletes, they all drive G-Wagons.
Wags.
Yes. Like, it's just I don't know. It's just one of those. And maybe, that's not my only car. I want, like, a big, nice truck too.
Yeah, because you're a truck girl, for sure.
I'm totally a truck girl. But anyways, before we just start talking about cars.
No, I just literally had to point that out because we both had that on our, like, I'm a boss bitch, like, I drive a G-Wagon. And I just thought that was so funny because then we're also on the flip side of that, both like, oh, we want to have, farms and, gardens and whatever. So, but you started off in 2024. You really just push play. You just hit play or, like, game on.
Yeah, I was like, screw this. I can't live my life like this anymore. And I you know, I'm listening to the podcast, I'm listening to the audiobooks and the, you know, some of it's TikTok and other social media platforms that people post their content on.
Right.
But I'm seeing all these other people do it, and I'm like, I can do it too, which I've always been that way in my life in general. Like, nobody's going to tell me that I can't do something.
Same.
Like,
tell me I can't and I will.
Yeah. Tell me I can't and I will. Don't tell me what to do. Like, I'm an unhinged person. But that's, you know, whatever. It's working. And
you live without limitations. Maybe not unhinged, but we have become accustomed to calling it that because I say that too about myself. Yeah. But it really is
unhinged
just
in a good way.
Non-conforming.
Like, yeah. Kind of like delusional has become like a good thing. Like, I'm totally delulu. Like... It used to be not a good word, but now it's totally a good word. I love it.
We're totally Delulu. Yeah. No, we're living in the outer limits. That's where we want to be.
Yes. Hell yeah. I mean, you will never put me in a square box.
Right.
Never.
So you said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then what actions did you take to just start making it happen? Like, how did you find the actions that aligned with your goals?
So part of it was just like, okay, I'm going to pay off. You know, for me, it was I'm going to pay off $40,000 worth of debt by the end of the year. And I was like, okay, well, how do I do that? For me, you know, with my business, it was reverse. And that's a huge part of it for me is like breaking it down into smaller pieces. So, you know, $40,000 is a lot of money on top of like what it takes to live and survive and pay your bills and all the things.
Paying taxes and all the things.
Yeah. And it sounds scary. So I'm like, well, broken up over a 12-month span, I need to do this many, you know, I need to have this much business coming in per month. And then to break that up one more time, it's like, what does that look like daily? Oh, okay, I can do that, you know? And then it's way less scary. And, you know, you're still like, I would still consistently write them out on paper. Because I think that's one thing that technology has kind of just, like, disconnected us. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Writing things on paper is so helpful to me.
Same.
Even
which
having,
is
like, a planner, like, on paper.
I love planners.
Like...
It helps it sear it into my brain so I see it. It becomes like a visual reference.
Yeah. I struggle so hard with putting things in my calendar on my phone. I actually despise it. I don't like having a calendar on my phone. I want to have, like... a grandma one that I keep in my pocket.
You were like my spirit animal because my husband makes fun of me for this, but he's like, you need to put it all electronic. You need to do this. And I'm like, I can't, dude, because it doesn't exist because something about my brain,
it has to be
writing it down in the paper, seeing it, referencing it, seeing that screenshot. It's like almost like my brain takes a screenshot of the planner.
Yeah.
And then it sticks. But like the electronic calendars do not do that for me.
No.
That's why I can't read electronic books. I have to have like paper to like tangibly touch, see it, highlight it, whatever.
Yeah.
What is that? Like, why? Because you're significantly younger than me. So in theory, according to my husband, that because I'm 46 and I'm in a different generation, that's why I'm like that, because that's how my first half of my life was. But I don't know. I just think it's like, I think there is something about your brain seeing it, writing it, committing to it.
I think part of it is just being...
slowing down, too.
Slowing down, and I've always felt like an old soul. Like, not saying that being old is what makes you write things on paper. Like, that's not what I mean, but, like,
I was like, is that like my husband? I'm just kidding.
No, not at all. I don't know. That's just who I am, I guess. I don't know.
I wonder how many people are like us. I would love to know, actually. I would love it if you would comment below on whether you are a planner, paper, note taker, list maker, and what works for you compared to us. Because I have a million lists. So I tried to find the bridge of the two worlds. So I have something called a remarkable. So it is writing it down, like you use your hand and you use a pen and you use the tablet and you write it down. And I can have like a million different notebooks stuck into one notebook. And the notebook's like this thin. The only thing that it doesn't have is like a planner aspect to it. So it doesn't keep a calendar. Yeah. So it can get a little crazy because it can still just disappear off of the screen. It can still just go bye-bye. Something about a notebook, I know exactly where it is, like based on like how thick the notebook is. Yeah. It's like my Rain Man quality.
And to be clear, like I am a very unorganized human being. Like I think that I'm a fucking superhero and that I can keep all of this mentally in my head. Like a planner in my head, my goals in my head. So like I have to sit and force myself to write stuff down. Like otherwise it just lives up here, which.
Right. And we were kind of talking about that earlier too, like where we postpone doing the systems and the operations to like live in the energy of where we are happy. But those boring tasks really add up and they can become like a tsunami if you ignore them long enough. So it's just good to create these little systems that are like annoying, that you just get used to, that you just do it automatically. And so he did kind of train me like to start putting everything in the Outlook calendar because it helps keep him aware of what I'm doing. And then it helps me not do a Tiffany thing, which is like triple book myself or whatever, you know, with all the different things that we have on our plate as women and just society moving so fast, it can become a lot. But I do really like the paper aspect and the paper planner and the like vision board. So I definitely want to talk to you about that too. So you wrote down all of your goals. Now, how did you hold yourself accountable to them? Like how did you reverse engineered it? You said, okay, this is what I want to do. And then now I have to figure out how I'm going to do it. So then you went backwards from your end goal and worked it back into tangible tasks, whatever that is, you know, so many, you know, transactions, things like that to hold yourself accountable. And then what else?
I'm telling you, like, I'm not an organized religion person at all.
Same.
But there is an aspect of it that really is like divine intervention.
Agreed. Like a divine energy.
There is part of it that is spiritual and that's like, I would say 50%, close to 50% of it is that. I mean, I really, really do believe that like speaking it into existence is true. The other half of it is just believing it. Yeah. And being confident in what you're saying. Because, I mean, for the first 6 months of last year, I mean, I was just like driving around like, I will be debt free at the end of this year and I will have this much success. I will have this much success in my business by the end of the year. And like, you sound like a crazy person when you say it to yourself. But eventually, like, now when I do it, like, my G-Wagon is black on black and it's got cheetah print interior. Like, that's amazing. Whatever. I mean, I don't really want cheetah print interior. But right, like, you're just giving whatever I say, it's fucking real. I believe it and I know it to be true. Like, there's so much money in this world and there's so much in this world. There's no reason why every single one of us can't have literally anything that we want. Right. So, yeah, I mean, part of it was, you know, I worked really hard last year. I did. I wasn't just, like, sitting on my couch with my notebook, like, waiting. And, you know, I did work hard, and that's definitely part of it. But, yeah, it really is, like, it's spiritual. I don't know.
So how do you not have, like, any of the, like, little negative, like, that's a lot or that's too much or am I really going to be able to do that? Like, how do you not have that? Like, is that, or is it there and you just overwrite it? Tell me that because
it's not there as much as it used to be. It used to be like, you know how they say, like, you have a little man on your shoulder. Mine was like an ogre that would just like weigh me down of the negative self-talk. But it's almost like creating a routine for yourself and like repetition.
Routine. Repetition.
Yeah,
systems.
you just have to literally tell him to kick rocks. Like the second that your inner monologue is like, well, no, goodbye. Like, don't even acknowledge it. And part of that for me was learning to do the same thing with anxiety. Like I've struggled with anxiety for the last 6 or 7 years, and it like came on hot and heavy, and I didn't know what it was, and like. But I was hell bent on getting rid of it. So learning like coping mechanisms for that. And it's the same thing. Like you get the anxiety on your shoulder. It's like, see you bye, see you bye, see you bye. So,
so you say see you bye, but then how do you build the wall that it can't always come back so easily? You know, it's like watching a wave go out in the ocean and it comes back in. And the wave goes out and it comes back in. How do you keep it out? You know, like keep the tide low or like keep it manageable?
I think now I just have gotten to the point where like I've seen what manifesting can do and I've seen things work. You know, it's like witnessing a miracle.
Yeah, that's my tattoo, miracle.
Oh, I love that.
I know. I'm thinking about getting another one.
Hey.
Let them.
Let them.
Have you heard of this book? By
only
Mel?
because of you.
I know. Oh my gosh, you have to listen to it. It's so good.
I will.
And it's really powerful because it really plays into the things that you can't control. Just let them. And then that anxiety goes away because you're not hanging on to something that's not serving you.
Yeah.
And giving it your power and your energy. Let them, let me.
Yeah.
And it's like you and I said, like, who cares that we want to drive a G-Wagon? Like, why does it bother you? Let me.
Yeah.
Let you, let me. Like, it doesn't have to be a problem here. Like,
Exactly.
we can live in our Delulu, and then when our Delulu comes true, we can be happy about it. And you can be happy for us.
And yeah. And whatever.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait, though. So call it into existence that you and I will have our G-Wagons with our plants and our animals because you have your farm and I have my garden and my greenhouse. And it's like an obsession and a passion, and it brings me joy and it brings me peace and it keeps me grounded. And I'm obsessed with it. And why can't I? Why can't I? I can. I will.
You can.
And I'll do my podcast and I'll do my business and I'll do it all and happily, right?
Happily, yeah.
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 So how long did it take you? When was the ding, 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 I rang the bell, I made it happen for you in 24, like where you said I did it?
July, all my debt was paid off.
Shut up. That's amazing.
July, all my debt was paid off. Yeah. And then it was build. And had to kind of, I was living in Delulu land. You know, I couldn't believe that I finally did it. I don't come from a family that, you know, is really good with finances. You know, I don't have that education and that, like, you know, I didn't have parents that, you know, they loved me and they did their absolute best and they made the decisions that they thought were right at the time.
Yeah.
But I didn't have, you know, parents that were super successful.
Yeah, or like generational wealth.
Yeah.
That they were teaching you what to do and what you needed to do with your money or what you needed to do with this. I mean, we didn't get that playbook. And that's okay. We can't change what cards we started off with. That's another thing to let them is that you don't control the cards that you're dealt, but you do control what you do now. And I love that you've like figured it out so young. I feel so happy for you. I wish I could have figured it out a little bit younger too. But, you know, again, I just got to be where I am now and own it and just do the best that we can and learn the most
literally,
we can.
I don't care if I was 72 right now and, you know, I was just getting started. It's just never too late, you know? Every day that you look back and you didn't do something, like, it's just this feeling, you know? You get up and you go to the gym or you do the things that you say you're going to do. A week later, you're like, fuck yeah, I did that. Like, I can do that. But, you know, you miss all the shots you don't take. And that's so true. Like, you just, I don't know. I just believe that I can. So I will.
I love that. So was there anything that you put on your to-do list or your I'm going to get this done list or that like didn't happen? And how do you handle it if you do that and it doesn't happen? I mean, what kind of peace do you make with yourself when something doesn't come to fruition that you believed you were going to manifest?
I should have brought my old dingy notebook that had I still have it, that has what I wrote down in January of last year. Everything happened. I've not had anything not come true.
So how many manifestations did you make for yourself last year? Like how many goals did you manifest last year?
I think I had like 4 big ones.
That's
like,
good.
I wanted to do a certain number of deals in my business. I wanted to hit a certain amount of volume in my business. I exceeded both, paid off my debt. And then later in the year, I wrote down, gosh, what was it? It was, so I like, one of my toxic traits is like, once I get something in my head, I'm clung to it until it either happens or I like cling to something new. And then, and it's not always a good thing. But one of them for me was like, so my kids are 3 and 5 and little kids just destroy furniture.
Oh my God, I know.
I wanted a new couch so bad. And then I was like, I paid my own debt off I'm going to pay my husband's debt off. And he didn't have nearly as much as I did, but it was still, you know, credit card debt from remodeling our kitchen. And I was like...
Which is super cute.
Thank you.
I like it.
I was like... I literally wrote it on my, like, I have this little magnet grocery list thing. And I usually write my honey-do list on there instead of my grocery list. So I'm like, fix this, do this, da-da-da. Well, on the bottom of it, I wrote, by the end of the year, Rusty, my husband, will be debt-free. We'll have a new couch. And, gosh, there was one other thing on there. I can't think of what it is. But a couple weeks ago, I was just, like, walking by my kitchen, and I was like, motherfucker, I got all of that. I got my couch.
She's like, I'm a baddie. Look at me.
I paid cash for that couch. I paid off my husband's debt. So we're rolling into 2025 completely debt-free.
Oh, my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. And it's just something I never thought was a thing. Like,
you never, like, made it a focal point? Or just never even thought about it?
No, I was like, debt is debt. Everybody has it. Which, to a certain degree, like, you listen to millionaires, you know, super successful people, like, debt is a great thing to them.
Because then you have all your assets still as an asset.
Yeah.
There's such conflicting thought there, and you just have to really listen and see what you vibe with. And that's can be overwhelming for some people. I mean, I know it can be for me, too, because if you weren't raised in that environment, you weren't raised to think about, you know, assets, debt, leveraging your wealth, you know, all the different things. I mean, you can just really be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just get caught up in the everyday, you know, monotony of life that is not fulfilling. And I feel like a lot of people get trapped there because they think that their dreams are so far out of reach. They just, you know, can't get to them that they just give up on them. And that makes me sad, you know.
That breaks my heart.
I know, same.
It literally breaks my heart.
Same. I mean, but like, also, sometimes you can set goals for yourself. So like for me, sharing some of the things that I wanted to have happen in 2023, I think it was 2023 when I decided that I really, really, really wanted to do a podcast. I said, I just feel like something in my life has been drawing me to this. And if everybody else is doing it, why can't I? Why is everyone else more special than me? Well, they're not. They just did it.
They just did
and I never gave myself the freedom to just do things.
I remember you talking about it the day that I met you when I came to your house.
Yeah, and when was that? I was in 2023. That was in like October, I think.
Yeah.
And I just decided. And then, you know, I hit a lot of roadblocks. I let a lot of things happen. I just kind of let it sit in the background and I didn't really commit to it. And then I really committed to it in 24. And I put it out there way before. Like people were asking me for like 6 months. And then it took me all that time. It took me from summer when I said, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm committing to. Got my photos done for branding in October. And then to fast forward to November when I was setting up the studio, you know, I asked the universe to bring me a space. And they did. The universe brought me a space. And it did not come in the way that I thought it was going to come. I don't care how it comes as long as it comes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just put the request out to the universe. This is what's needed. This is what's got to happen. This is the time. This is now. And then it just started happening and then just started following through with all the steps. And so it sounds like that's kind of what you did too. Yeah. And
I think the other part of it is also like embodying the type of person that good things happen to. Because you can't just be a nasty old hag and like all these good things happen.
You can't be negative and you can't be a bad karmic person where you're just going around stomping all over people. You do have to give love to get love. You do have to give, you do have to spend money to make money. You have to do a lot of different things and people aren't always willing to make that transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. And they don't want to do the work sometimes. They want the result without the work because that's what social media shows you. They think, people think that all those good things came just because they came with it. They don't see all the work, all the hours, all the things that you had to do to get there. You know what I mean? And I'm here to be transparent. It takes hours and hours and hours of dedication. And that's what you did. Hours and hours of sacrifice. And anybody who's successful will tell you that, you know, you were out showing houses while, you know, your family's having a get together or, you know, you're taking a call while you're at a family gathering.
Yeah.
And we live that life to have the success that we want, to build the business and the brand that we want. So I love it.
Yeah.
So what did you put on? Is it too personal to ask what you put on 2025?
I want to double my business volume.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm in like a really good place to do that now. All the puzzle pieces kind of fit, and now it's just growing it, multiplying it.
Mm-hmm.
So that I want to, oh, here I am. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, that's not how this works. Don't listen to me. By the end of this year, I will be a pillar of my community. Like, I live in a small town, and I've always loved the shows and the movies that are like, oh, it's Founders Day and it's this day and we're having a picnic this day and doing all these little cute small town things. And I am obsessed with it. I want that. Like, I want everybody in my town to know who I am and to be involved in, you know, sports and the schools and the local businesses, supporting them. So that's all extremely important to me for this year, as well as getting my, you know, I put pen to paper and I've really like made some shit happen in my business. So I need to also dig deep and realize that I can do that for myself, like personally also. I've always struggled with my weight since I've been an adult. I've always struggled with food and just my relationship with it.
Since you've been an adult, so not when you were a kid, just when you were an adult?
Yeah, I was like built like a little brick shit house until I was 19, and then it was just like boom.
When did you have kids?
25.
So when you were 25 years old? So
no, like when I was like 19 or 20, I started to gain weight.
I know. So there was like a 5-year span there that for some reason you started having that imbalance.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the one side of my family tends to just like, they're just heavier people, like the whole side of that family. I've always been afraid like of that because I can just feel how easily it would be for me to just completely like say fuck it and I've done it before. I just don't ever do it for a long enough period of time where I like really blow up.
Dig a hole,
but,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's kind of scary.
Do you think that those fears sometimes can live in our mind, and because it's a fear living there instead of a manifestation, that we manifest the fear? Do you have any belief in that? Because I feel like I do. I feel like if you're always afraid you're not going to have money, then you manifest that outcome of like, oh,
yeah,
I don't have money.
Mindset.
Yes, a scarcity mindset. So it was interesting because how you're saying this, my whole life, I never had a weight problem. I never had a weight problem, ever. I could eat whatever I wanted. I did when I wanted. People like, oh, that's youth. I'm like, no, that was me. That's what I believed, and that's what I lived. Somewhere in 2014, I started to gain some weight, and I just had this negative mindset come over me. I think it was who I was communing with, and the type of energy that they had was a scarcity mindset, and I started all of my like belief system that I can do anything, be anything, I can conquer the world, I believe in miracles, I never gain weight. All these beliefs that I'd always carried with me suddenly started turning into like this scarcity mindset of who I was in communion with, who I was making a big person in my life. And then I just went straight down into the black hole. So from 2015, I went down, 16, 17. I ballooned up. I gained like 60 pounds. That was not me. I didn't know who I was. I didn't identify with myself anymore. I was miserable. I was living in this like what I call a glass prison because people can't see it. They're like, oh, you're so happy and you're so fun and you look perfectly fine the way you are and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you don't know. And I just felt like I was living in this glass prison. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible and I hated it and no one could understand. Because I historically had never had that.
Yeah.
And people try to pin it on, oh, well, you're getting older now. No, that's not what it is. Something else is wrong with me. I need to look at what's eating at me that's causing me to eat and to drink and to want to avoid. What am I trying to avoid?
Yeah.
And I would do the work a little bit and I would kind of like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I finally broke. In 24. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. And that's when I told you I went to the doctor and I said, I need help. I'm just at a point in my life where I need help.
Yeah.
I need someone to throw me a life preserver right now because I'm like on the edge of just, I'm done. Like I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
It's not something that I was used to. I'm already exhausted. I have 5 kids. I'm 45 years old. I don't want to be overweight anymore. I don't want to be like this. And it was just like getting control again, where I finally feel like now I'm at least in control of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that you had the same thing kind of happen. Was there anything in your life at that time that like just kind of overtook you or just changed?
No, I've got a very addictive personality, and I am addicted to food. I'm addicted to sugar. Like
everybody.
Yeah.
We all are. I mean, until you break it, you are.
Yeah.
Now, when you went through last year and you lost a bunch of weight and you weren't addicted to sugar and you weren't like thinking about it all the time and you were focused on other things, like, did your mind develop any coping skills during that time, like how to handle it? Or was it literally just the tool that turned that part of your brain off and you just focused on other things?
It was just the tool because I've realized how quickly you just snap right back into the same thing.
And that's how people feel. I like when they're trying to manifest their goals, I feel like they go through what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they lose steam, which is why it's kind of like drilling you. Like, how do you stay so focused on your goals? How do you stay focused on manifesting? How do you flick the little guy off your shoulder? So it's interesting that you can do it so easily in this one facet of your life. And then when it comes to like the self-care, it's like it's not as easy. So like as women, I feel like we have to sit here and like deep dive into our brains. What is it about me that I didn't feel like I was worthy of the same energy that I give to this other thing?
Right.
So that's what we need to focus on, girl, in 2025.
Figure that out. Yeah, call me because...
Well, I'm going to be in your life a lot this year, so I will totally keep recirculating this information to you because I believe it. I'm so passionate about wellness and women taking back their wellness. I feel like as a society, we have been systemically taught that we are not worth what everybody else around us is worth. Our kids are worth more. Our spouse is worth more. Our in-laws are worth more. Our parents are worth more. Everybody else is worth more. But then when it comes to us, we get the back seat. And why do we do that to ourselves?
I don't know.
If we know we're a badass and we know that we can go out here and earn all of this money and we can do all of this, why are we not a badass that we get to deserve all of the healthy, nutritious foods that aren't toxic, or going and carving out time for ourselves to go to the gym if we love it, or doing anything like that. So that is my passion for this.
Another thing that I feel like has helped me is I try to, it's kind of weird, but like I try to talk to myself like I'm a separate entity from my brain. So like my brain wants all that sugar.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
My brain wants to skip the gym. I don't.
Right.
Kind of thing. Like my brain is lazy. I'm not fucking lazy. I like.
But I don't think your brain is. It's like working in overtime. But I think that's interesting that that's how you help manage it.
Yeah. Same with, and then in terms of like, manifesting and the goals and stuff, like the negative, anytime the negative comes in, like I said, either, kick rocks or like just being like, no, that's not me. I don't know what part of, I don't know who that is talking. That's not me. I would never not believe in myself. I would never not think that this couldn't happen for me. Yeah. And then just, I almost feel like people just have to get like a taste of it. Like one good thing has to happen for you to get, for you to get hooked on it and just understand that it's real and that it works and that you can have anything you want.
So you've really mastered this in the finance. I feel like in the monetary aspect, you've really been able to hone in, lock in, engage, nail it, overachieve. What do you think it would take for you to do the same thing in your personal life for you specifically, for you, for Bree? Only you, no one else.
Yeah.
Only you. What do you want more than anything for your personal body, for your personal self that isn't monetary? Like, think about that.
Well, I want to be in the best shape of my life. I mean, when I think about like when I think about the Brie that's driving the G-Wagon, like, she's not frumpy and overweight, you know?
Right. So we gotta marry these two worlds.
Yeah.
You and I have got to take these two worlds, bring them together.
Yeah.
And make them joined. We have to find a way to bridge that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I've never.
Maybe we're the answer, like the yin and the yang, because
Yeah.
we're so similar in these really wonderful, powerful ways.
Yeah.
And you've kind of mastered like the out here in the business world. And I'm kind of working on the self and the self-care and the nutrition and the health and trying to find all of that information. Maybe we come together and we are like the perfect yin yang.
Yes. And then we're just healthy, rich and healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Because we'll have everything that we are finally able to manifest in with confidence. So
I don't know what it is that I'm like sitting here thinking like about the whole deserving aspect of it. And I'm like, I think I deserve $1 million and I deserve the G-Wagon and the successful business. And I'm like, why the hell do I not? Like, I haven't written, the only thing I wrote in my notebook of like my manifestations for 2025, like health-wise, was that, what did I put? Because you have to be very, like, the more specific you write things, the easier it is for the universe to provide. You know, the same goes with like the saying it will or it can and it's gonna blah blah blah. Like, the
I
more
wish
specific,
I had my book to show you my Remarkable, because I went through my affirmations yesterday that I wrote down last year when I listened to this amazing book that I'll have to tell you what it is in a minute. But it was about manifesting and affirmations. And I am 8 pounds away from my affirmation that I am. I know. I was like, hey, I did it, right?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny that you're saying that, because I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot that I wrote that down. And I'm going to have to go through all of them again. But yesterday I kept trying to convert it into text, because you handwrite it and then you can have it converted into text so it's easier to read and takes up less space, which is nice. And it kept coming up multiple times. I am fill in the blank amount of pounds. And I was like, my God, I'm like actually in that 10-pound range bracket. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. But I didn't even think about it till just now.
Yeah.
So what was yours that you wrote down for yourself?
I wrote down, I easily maintain 150 pounds and I enjoy everything that it takes to keep me there.
Oh, I love that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe yours just needs a little more definition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wrote out, so it was funny. I was actually, I was on my way home from my aunt, who was like my bestie, my spirit animal, my guru. Like, she passed away in November, and January 11th is her birthday, and we did her celebration of life, and she was all the way sold on the woo-woo, like me. Like, we aligned on so many. She would have loved to do this podcast. And it was her birthday. We did the celebration of life, came home, scrolling on TikTok, and Brittany Bento is one of the girls that I love to watch, love to listen to. She has a TikTok. She has a podcast. She does tarot card readings and like just energy readings. And
have you ever had that done?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who do you go to? Or can you tell me?
I mean, I've gone like, I always go to the psychic festival. They do it like twice a year at the
Sharonville.
Yeah. So I always go get readings then, but like
remind me when you go. I want to go with you.
Yeah, oh, totally. Yes. My mom's best friend, she does Reiki and tarot, and she's amazing. And I actually had I did it like a spooky party, but in October I had a party at my house. All the girls came over. We had her reading tarot, and then I had a medium come, and we all got like a medium session. I have never been in a house full of, God, there were probably like 15 or 20 of us, and we were all just crying. Like, it was, there was so much like healing in my house that night. It was insane.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like my jam.
We got kind of off topic.
No, it's okay. You were just telling me about you had the celebration of life service on January 11th.
Oh, yeah. So,
and then I was like, you talked about the tarot and the woo-woo, and then I got you off track.
Yes. So Brittany Bento, the girl that I watched, does like a ton of manifesting energy, yada, yada. She was like, today is the 111 portal.
I am so obsessed with that. Like, literally, those are my numbers. I've been seeing them since 2008.
Wow.
I paid $1,111 for my real estate license education back in 2008.
Oh my God.
And then ever since then, it's just been 1111 all the time. Like literally, I think it's part of my next tattoo. But anyways, your numbers, go for it. I know, I just had to share that with you. I'm telling you.
Well, it's her birthday.
I love that.
As well. So she was like, you need to write out 11 manifestations for this year and write each of them 11 times. So we get home and it's like 11 o'clock at night. My kids are sleeping. My husband's like sitting in his recliner about to pass out. And I'm over here with my crisscross applesauce with my notebook, like, doo-doo-doo, like, just loving it.
Love it.
Holding my crystal in one hand and, like, writing my dreams in the other. And, so I wrote all of it. I wrote all of it out. 11 different things that I want, 11 times a piece. And I was way more specific this year than last year. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you have to start out, like your first year, you probably have to start out like a little less intensely, maybe for some people, just because it can be so overwhelming. You and I are a little weird. Like we're like diehards, like we're going to get it. We're going to have it. This is going to happen. You know what I mean? Like not a lot of people are like innately born that way. Like there's something within us that created this desire, drive, and lack of ability to be satiated, just like whatever, like we're just undying, we're insatiable. Yes, we're talking about maybe starting an insatiable session, like where we just always talk about our insatiable desires and how we're going to achieve all these goals. But oh my gosh, I'm getting a horrible ring in my ears. That is horrible.
Maybe that was the universe.
Oh, that is so interesting. It was like hissing. Yeah. So not a lot of people are like that. So I think that's probably good that you started out the first year like a little more like less goals. I think one of my biggest problems is that I would always want to conquer everything all at once. And, I made 2023, I learned about boundaries and how to push back on people who are trying to invade my personal peace and my boundaries. Mm-hmm. And then 2024 was a year of love. I learned how to love myself, make myself a priority. Mm-hmm. And so I think you have to have those wins. People need to start off with just like one or two things. Yeah. That is their goal maybe. And then now you have 11.
It doesn't have to be like, my goals were pretty intense. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying.
All my debt, like
that was insane. And I'm obsessed with this one. It really resonates with me because I would love for that to be my 2025 is to be get rid of that debt.
You can do it.
I can do it. And I need to do it for me. I need to have that moment. And when I do have that moment, then I will feel satisfied to step into G-Wagon. Maybe at the end of the year, we will be in a situation where we can have our G-Wagon purchase because you can write it off.
Yeah, baby.
If you use it for the year and you go in on the last day of the year and you plan to buy it, you can write it off on your business. It can be your business car.
I know.
So maybe we need to put that on our 2025. Could you imagine? We circle back around with you guys in a year, and here we are with our G-Wagon.
We'll have our G-Wagon keys
and my greenhouse
on the table.
Yeah. I mean, we will have worked a lot to get there, and we will have busted our tushies to get there, but it would all be worth it, and that would be amazing.
And like, there is 0% of me that believes that that's not going to happen.
I love that.
Like 0.
I'm so excited.
I'm
so glad the universe brought you into my life. It was such a fluke. Too. I mean, really, we crossed in business. My eyes, like, I blink a lot. But, just sometimes you meet people and you just know, like, wow, this person is my type of person. And you I don't feel like you always get that lucky to find people in your life. Like, you can find people that you can be friends with. You love them. They're cool. You have a good time. It resonates. But then, like, to sometimes find someone that you feel like you're kind of looking in the mirror, you're like, oh my God, she's the badass that like I feel like I know I can be. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I just feel that way when I'm with you. I'm just like, I feel connected in that energy. And I just like want to
it's intoxicating.
Level it up. Yeah. Like level it up. Level up. I'm leveling up friendships this year. I'm leveling up every aspect of my life this year, leveling up business. And it's just a theme, leveling up. I'm not going to continue to think that I only deserve crumbs. And right. But see, you are like a manifestation of everything that I believe. You know what I mean? And I want to do the same like for you. I want like us to work together to build each other up. Unlike how some women, out here are just not honest and truthful with their intentions with their friends. Like some people find friends because that person maybe makes them feel good about themselves. You know what I mean? And Mel talked about that in her book where she was like, you can go the wrong way, like where you find people and you're comparing yourselves to them and you talk down to yourself, which is not what I'm doing with you. Like you've definitely achieved the goals that I haven't achieved, that I want to achieve. In no way do I feel less than. I feel inspired. And that is like a major motivation for me, is to inspire people to want more, to do more, to be more. Inspire. Like that is the whole purpose of the podcast, really, is to get to know amazing people like you and inspire other people to want more for their life, And I think that like we can really be total baddies and do that this year.
Damn right.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Well, we'll have to like recap what some of our things are, since we have to eat. We haven't eaten yet today, so we have to eat and we have to take a break. But stay tuned because we might do a little spinoff.
Definitely.
Insatiable.
Insatiable, baby.
I know.
It's just a fun word to say.
I know.
Like I say it and I'm like, oh.
Right? And we came up with that, talking about that, last week? When we got together before we got sick?
It's kind of like a sexy word, really.
It is really sexy. I like sexy words.
Me too.
I like that whole, like, just energy and just powerful and, everything that it encompasses. I love big, powerful words.
It's the same.
Insatiable.
I know.
I love your face just like glows. You're like, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I love that.
All right. Well, we'll recap. I think that we should do this, at least once a month, like where we sit down and like bring people up to speed on like what our manifestations are and how it's going, and checking the boxes of that's done. And
thank you, universe.
Yes. Thank you, universe.
That's the other thing. You gotta give your thanks, man. That's what I do when I drive in the car. I'm just like, oh my God, I will it's cold out now, but I have a Jeep. So I'll just like when it's nice out, I'm like putting the top down on my Jeep and I'm just like,
I love your Jeep.
I'm just high on life. Like, thank you, universe. I'm so lucky for this life. I'm so thankful for this life that, money comes to me easily. And you can do that. Like I said, I'm driving in the car doing this, but I do it every single day. And if I forget, I feel like shame on me. Like, shame on me, because it's too easy not to just pay thanks to this amazing whatever it is that's out there that's got our back 24/7. Like, whether you think it's God or whoever. For me, I resonate more with just like spirit, a universal source, whatever it is, like whoever you talk to, that's your prerogative. But to just constantly be like in all of it and thankful for it, and I don't know, and it feels so good when you do that. Like, you spend 2 minutes just flying down a back road, like, I love you, universe. Like, thank you so much, and I'm so grateful, and I'm gonna do great things this year, and I'm gonna make sure I'm a good person, and I'm going to keep doing good things because good things happen to me all the time. Yeah,
I say the same thing. Good things happen to me. Good people come into my life. I attract good people into my life. I have been saying that for, quite some time now. If I lose focus on that, there has been occasions where not nice people have infiltrated into my camp, but it's funny that you say that, because I always am grateful to the universe for the people that come into my life that I know are there for a divine reason. And I always believe that. I've always believed that. And it comes true. It really does. What you focus on, you attract. I really firmly believe in the laws of attraction. Absolutely. And whatever you focus on, it's just like that. People say, oh, if you focus on, like a red Jeep, then all of a sudden you see all these red Jeeps. It's really just awareness. And it's the same way with like everything in your life. Yeah. Everything. Earning money, being and feeling successful. You have to see it in your mind call it into existence, and then you'll literally start seeing it all the time. It literally manifests. Just like seeing a red Jeep. You'll see a red Jeep all the time. Or you're like obsessed with a G-Wagon. When I started hyperfixating on my G-Wagon obsession, and that was like a goal of mine, I started seeing them.
Oh, I see them too. And I'm like, and I live in the boonies, and I'm like,
what is the G-Wagon doing out here?
Who has the G-Wagon out here? It's not me yet, but...
Girl, I told you about my favorite pink glitter one that's down at the coffee shop. And I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to the barista in there, and I was like, so tell me, this is like a candy shop, like a candy coffee shop. Who in the heck is driving this amazing pink glittery G-Wagon? And they're like, oh, that's the owner. I was like, I knew it had to be an owner, but for real, it's a dude.
Oh my gosh.
A dude has a pink glittery G-Wagon because it is rare, and he just likes rare cars. Yeah. For me, it's just a statement. It's just loud and fun, catches your eye.
I mean, that's why I got a pink Jeep, because I was like, you know, in terms of building my brand, I'm like, I live in a small town.
Everybody's going to know you in the pink Jeep.
Yeah, everybody knows it's me. And it's already happening. I've had parents come up to me at my kid's school like,
you're the pink Jeep girl.
Yeah, you're the realtor that drives the pink Jeep, right? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I am.
I love it. That's what I need. I need that recognition. When people see me around town, they know it's me.
Yeah.
That is literally how I feel too. Right now, I'm just driving a little black Honda Pilot, so we need to level up my car game real fast. I need to get that debt out of the way so I can do that, because it's exactly how I feel. Did you have to special order that color?
No, I was on the car hunt for 2 weeks. I was so sick of it. I was like ready to just like put some cars in a hat and pick one, and whatever I picked, like that's what I was going to buy, because I've never been in a position to just like go pick out a car. Like it was always, you know,
what can I afford? What's the payment?
Yeah. Like go buy something used, whatever. And I wanted it to be a good decision, a responsible decision, and my dad is he's a Mopar guy, so like we've always driven Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, kind of, it's always just been in my family, and I've always wanted a Jeep, but I was like, no, it's not really, you know. I'm always hauling around stuff for animals and kids, and I'm like...
Because you have like a horse and pigs and what else?
One horse, a mini donkey.
You have a mini donkey, I forgot.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the mini donkey? Doesn't it like companion with other animals?
He's the horse's companion, but he's also, which I don't have issue with like protection, but they protect their, whatever is in that field with him. He's protecting them. So, yeah. So I have pigs. I have 5 pigs.
I cannot wait to see these pigs.
And then 2 goats. Yeah.
You had a bunch of pigs, though, because they had babies, and you got rid of some of them, right?
Yep. So I sold. That was kind of my thing. Like, the babies were supposed to be, that was the pig's ticket to freedom, you know? Like, you guys got to have 1 litter of babies a year. That'll pay the feed bill for pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
But it turns out everybody else had the same idea as I did, so wasn't as easy to find them homes as I thought it was going to be.
I totally shared it with somebody who had pigs that is like down in Newtown, but I don't know what their purpose. They actually slaughter their pigs, and they have
well, that was the other reason
and stuff.
I couldn't get rid of them, because like there were a lot of people who wanted to buy them to raise them for meat, and I was like, absolutely not. These are my children. You want to love them and name them and like let them live in your backyard, like then we'll talk. But if you have any intention, and I was very like upfront about that, any intention at all in them being slaughtered, whether it's next month or 3 years from now, you can kick rocks.
But you eat meat, don't you?
I do, but
do not eat pork. So I have a friend who has a pig that like literally is his pet, that lives in his house, that is domesticated. This pig is humongous.
No, that's too much.
I don't know how he does it. And he is like Mr. GQ, dressed in like Mr. like, I got to be perfect when I'm in public kind of guy. So the fact that he has pig blows my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has a pig, and he doesn't eat any pork products.
Wow.
I was like, whoa. I was like, I love bacon. I'm sorry. Like bacon is like.
I don't. Like pork is like my least favorite.
Pork is my least favorite meat too, but bacon is like one of those things to me that it's like the best part of the pig.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't. I'm just one of those, I don't make any sense at all. I like to live this country life, but I'm like just a little hippie girl that
I'm so hippie too, tree hugger.
There's nothing, I might have chickens one day, but really it costs way more money to have your own chickens than to buy organic eggs. So doesn't really make sense. And chickens are disgusting.
I know. I cannot hop down that one with you because I literally just have a million swirling ideas. But the chicken thing, they're really good for compost. We should totally do
a homesteading episode.
Oh, I would love that. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
And I could we should get into some kind of co-op situation, where we co-op amongst some agreed people on the practices and standards that we have. So we should manifest that maybe I don't know if we can squeeze that into 2025. That might have to be a 2026 manifestation. But by then we'll have a little more under our belt because I'll have the greenhouse and I think I'm going to just sell a bunch of seedlings or grow as much as I can and have a little farm stand out in front of my house where people can come get fresh produce.
Yeah. So I've always wanted to do that too.
Yeah.
Because I live on a pretty busy road and my driveway's the size of a parking lot. I'm this is so perfect. I could just
for sure. If you have time.
Yeah.
But maybe when we start leveraging our business in the way that we want to leverage it, right now, we're building the foundation, the big foundation. We're manifesting the big dreams, getting out of debt, being successful. Then that's going to free up our time to turn around and invest in those things, the hobbies that we have, And I'm definitely going to come make friends with all your little animals. And we will do a homesteading sesh for sure.
Yes.
Because I could talk about that forever.
Oh my God, yeah.
But thank you for coming. Please share. I'm going to share in the description the podcasts that Brie loves, the things that she does, any resources that she has that maybe we didn't go into too much depth with. I'm going to list them in the description section, and that way you can start manifesting. I would love for you to share if you manifest in your life, who you follow, what resources do you have, what books did you read, things like that. I would absolutely love. And I'll actually share the book that I read too. And since I know it was you, but I'll share the book that I read that really helped me. It was amazing. And it was a really easy listen on Audible. And I just took notes and I wrote everything down and look at me. I didn't even know I manifested something that I wrote down. So whoop, whoop.
And isn't that it's addicting?
Yeah, no, it is. Absolutely.
What else can I write down?
What else can we manifest? What else can we do? Well, more to come. I think we should do a regular manifesting follow-up.
For sure.
All right, girl. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Bye, girl.
Bye.